You may feel judged. You may feel like, I don't know, people in your family or even friends or, have placed a judgment on you, kept you in a box. This next author has written a book pretty much about that. It's one of those morals, one of those things you're going to take away from his book called Venture. Daniel Jimenez has written. And Daniel, I'm going to have you come in and talk about really what the basis of the story is about.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and talk about what it's about, and the fact that it's about judging and putting labels on people.
Right. Well, my book is a fantasy series, not a fantasy setting, and of course, there's elves, orcs, giants, even as one of the main characters,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets judged pretty harshly just for being a giant.
I think so many of us are already going, yeah, judging that book by the cover.
Right.
Well, let's talk about the plot.
Okay. Well, the plot is about two twins, a brother and a sister, who, at a young age, they have their life flipped upside down. Their parents are killed, and it's basically a revenge story.
Oh, wow. And they're together
Right.
for revenge. They're together on that.
Yes, they have conflicting interests at a certain point.
Are they angry? Is there things that have happened that they're like, I'm going to make this right, or I'm justice based. We're gonna fight because of this.
Well, not through the entire book because they're very young when everything happens to them. So they grow up first, and um, they realize what happens, and certain key events take place, and they're motivated. Not everyone at first, but eventually to take revenge and secure their future.
I imagine because that pain from way back, all those years, is still very real and relevant to them.
Right, right.
And that's what it's about. Tell me about the impact of the antagonist.
The antagonist. I like this antagonist that I wrote. Well, people that have read the book, my family members have said that he's a very good antagonist. He's not a evil person,
Okay.
not by definition, but his actions could be seen as evil. But then it's all a matter of perspective, you know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Again, very relevant just as humans going, well, maybe people take me as being one way, but my heart's really another. So, just finding that common ground with how people can relate to the characters in the story. Let's talk about the relationship between the two main characters.
Right. So the two main characters are Elizabeth and Edward, the twins.
Okay.
They they argue a lot. They're a brother and a sister. They have these moments where they hate each other, but at the same time they're there for each other.
Gee, that never happens, huh? We couldn't relate to that.
Oh, I'm sure we all do.
But generally, I mean, they love each other. They're each other's best friends, even though they fight.
They're
To
all
this
they
day.
have. They're all they got.
Mm. Mm. Now, how does the third character, James, play into this?
James really is the first other kid their age that they met. Because if you read in my, what's it called, the summary of the book that I wrote,
Mm-hmm.
the giant is their stepdad, so they weren't raised in society. They were raised in the woods.
Wow.
So James is really another kid their age that they met, and he's the only other kid their age that they've ever met. And
Wow.
Edward has a look into how maybe he should act, and Elizabeth has a look into maybe the same thing, how her brother should act.
Mm-hmm. Never really looking at themselves, being able to judge the other one.
Right.
Now, there are some side characters that play an important part of this book. Can you talk about those?
Right. The side characters. Well, the side characters influence the main characters, and they play pretty good roles I'm kind of getting lost here.
No, they're kind of supporting the main
Right,
characters. It takes those side characters to keep the spotlight on the main ones, right? They're just supporting them.
right, and they help them get through tough times, and you know,
Yeah. How did you come up? I mean, when you think about these side characters, are they kind of, could you say, people in your life? Are there some personalities in your life that influenced how you came up with not just the side characters, but the main characters?
um, I came up with the side characters. Really, I would just hang out in public spaces and just kind of reflect on people who I
Wow.
thought were interesting.
Observe.
Right.
Wow. That's kind of cool research. I mean, I love that. What is the setting for your book?
It's I would say fantasy, like it's a fantasy setting,
Okay.
but it's modern, kind of old style. You know what I'm saying? They have,
Well, is it another world?
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say
Okay.
so.
Okay. And then let's talk about where they start. And I mean, they're starting out as young children. They grow up still with all these wounds and this hurt and pain to be vengeful. Um, without giving away how the book ends, what do you think they learn through their lifespan of having gone through the pain that they did as youngsters and then growing up to be, angry and vengeful? What do you think that they learned in that time?
Well, for one, they learn to keep each other close and to tell each other that they love each other.
Mhm.
They, after seeing, their parents die, they kind of have to hold strong, be
Mhm.
together, and even if they argue a lot, they need to just be there for each other.
Mhm. That's huge. I'm really interested in the way that there's discrimination against the different characters, because they're all very different. They're
Right.
all like, you know, is there a little seed of some things that maybe you've gone through or your friends have gone through or family or whatever or that you see on the news that kind of inspired an awareness and to put it in a book like this, it just makes it very black and white. Like, this is wrong. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, well, it was not my intention to have that as a, you know, um,
Like a main piece to it.
right, a main
Right.
piece. It's
Yeah.
it's more of a a cause, an effect of just so many different type of species and people
Mm,
being together. And
mm.
I,
And it
I
just
mean,
happens. Yeah.
growing up the way I did, as you said, it just happens. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
you just kind of not really get used to it, but you kind of put up
Mm,
with it, and that's what the characters do. And some of them, at first,
mm,
don't accept it, and they
mm.
try to understand why. But yeah, it's just an
Wow.
effect.
So it's like a piece of your heart and your soul that's in this book. It's kind of weaved in to the spiritual part of it. It sounds like it's really deep. It's your baby. I mean, this is a part of you. So we're kind of getting ready to wrap up, but in about 15 seconds, what do you want people to say when they're done reading it? How do you want them to feel?
Um, I want people to cry when they're done reading the book.
Tears of happiness?
Both tears of happiness and sadness.
Wow. Lot of emotion.
Right.
It must be very engaging with a lot of highs and lows.
Yes, it is.
Well, Daniel, for those that are just listening to the radio interview and not seeing the video with all your contact information, how can people get a hold of you and get your book?
To get my book, you would have to go to the website Writers Republic
Mhm.
and make an account with them.
Okay.
In some time, I'm not sure how much time, there will be it will be available in public stores like Barnes and Noble and Books a Million.